Thank you. Thank you. So, one, thank you, Linda and the crew, for having me here. It's awesome.
That's Dylan, our general manager of Burgundy Books. So everything that happens good here, he did. Anything that happens bad here, I did. Oh yeah, and him too.
Okay. Very good. So, like Dylan said, my name is Anthony Budo. How did I get here speaking to you guys today? I will get into that in a minute, but first, I want you to take a second and think back to a time in your life when perhaps you were facing a struggle, a challenge, a hardship. What was it for you? Take yourself back to that moment. What were you thinking? What were you experiencing? What were you feeling? What was going on for you? At any moment in that time, were you feeling lost? Alone? Scared? Like you were in a storm that you felt like was never going to end? Because I have been there. I've been there. But take a second now and fast forward to the present moment. You've made it through that storm. You can look back on it and realize how strong you are today for making it through there, for enduring that. And that's where my story begins. My name is Anthony Budo. I am the founder of Journey Evolution, which is my website, personal brand, dedicated to helping men and women become stronger individuals by looking within. I'm also an author, empowerment coach, and it's my passion and purpose to inspire and empower others to be the best they can be, to be who they are and not what someone else wants them to be, to establish a better relationship with themselves and improve their relationships with others. But I didn't always know my purpose. I didn't. Prior to being confident, comfortable, and the content person that I am today, I was feeling lost. I was feeling alone. I was disconnected from myself. I lived a life led by fear. I never felt good enough. I never felt smart enough, talented enough, man enough. Inside, I was the perfect example of low self-esteem. It was less than 2 years ago, I was in that storm. I felt like it was never going to end. I spent 15 years in unhealthy relationships with women who truly didn't appreciate me. Me looking for my happiness through someone else. I spent over 18 years working in a job that I didn't even like. Unfulfilled. It was one of those moments where I felt stuck. What was this about? Until I finally realized that the only person responsible for my happiness was me. That nothing externally could complete me. Not another person, not a relationship, not a bigger TV, not another guitar. And that is when I came to that realization. I remember that moment like it was yesterday. It was a Friday night in August 2016. My relationship at that time just ended. And I remember walking out the door thinking, what just happened? Now what? Standing there alone by myself for like the first time in a long time, wondering, what do I do now? And it was Einstein who said, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Now, my relationship ended that night. And despite how easy it would have been for me to crawl back and continue doing the things that I've always done, I had to get real with myself. I had to recognize that the only person responsible for my happiness was me. I had to take responsibility for my actions, for myself, for my happiness, for my life. A person will only change when their desire to change is stronger than their desire to stay the same. So I was done making excuses. I was done feeling insecure or less of a man for wanting to share my emotions. I was done continuing to allow myself to be taken advantage of in relationships, trying to please everyone else while my own needs were shoved aside. I was done fearing life. And that is what led me to start doing personal growth, self-development. I jumped right in there. And for the first time in my life, I started looking within. And the funny thing about that is, I never really knew all the stuff that was in there. Think of a closet in your house. Let me know if you can relate with this. Think of a closet in your house where you are taking stuff and you're throwing in that. Not sure if you do that stuff, you throw it in the closet. You keep throwing stuff in that closet. Every time you open it up, you don't even realize what's in there. The light's broken, it's dark, but you keep throwing stuff in that closet until one day, eventually, you open it up and everything comes spilling out. And that's what I did. The pain, the sadness, the heartache. I took it all, buried it deep down inside. And that's what led me to write the first book, Self-Evolution, because it allowed me to look deep within myself and ask some questions that I had been putting off my whole life. Who am I? What do I want? Why do I want it? And what am I willing to do for it? Four simple sounding questions, but yet hard to always answer. And that's what the book goes into. It goes into those questions. It goes into the 5 phases of discovery that I used to help transform my life. Help me discover more about myself than I ever knew, figure out what I want, and uncover the truth about why I want it, and also to take immediate action to make long-lasting change. And that's exactly what I did. I started taking immediate action over the course of last year, stepping far outside my comfort zone, and in doing so, I had to face fear. Fear. One of the biggest barriers that prevents people from achieving what it is they want in their life is fear. So if I were to ask you right now, what are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? What fear specifically has held you back in one or more aspects of your life? What has kept you stuck in your comfort zone, afraid to step out? I mentioned earlier, I lived a life led by fear. I allowed fear to make my decisions, which kept me in my comfort zone. And I decided to face that fear. And here's the most important thing. If you take anything away from our time together right now, the second that you decide to stop avoiding fear, start embracing it, and take that first step beyond that imaginary barrier that fear has built around you, keeping you stuck, that is where all of the good stuff happens. That is what led me here today. That is exactly what Unmasking Fear is about. And I talk about 6 specific masks of fear. And I share my experiences over the course of last year embracing that fear. 1, fear of vulnerability. Being vulnerable. Sharing our struggles. Our struggles are our greatest gifts. They are the things that allow us to experience miracles in our life. Think back to the first moment when I started this, visualizing that struggle you were in. Well, guess what? You've made it through that. You can look back at that and say, I'm thankful for going through that. I'm much stronger now today than I was back then. And being able to reveal our struggles gives others the courage to do the same. Powerful. Powerful. I'll talk about the fear of failure. Failure, there's no such thing. To truly fail is to stop trying, it's to give up. I talk about the fear of not being enough. Who can resonate with that? Not being smart enough, talented enough. For who? For what? It's silly. It's silly. I talk about the fear of judgment. I talk about the fear of uncertainty. And I talk about the fear of death. The funny thing about death, my friends, is we're all going to experience it. It's inevitable. But yet, how many times have we allowed that to stop us from living our life, the one life that we get? So I ask you, are you ready to embrace that fear? Are you ready to create the life that you want to live? Are you ready to become the person that you have always wanted to be? Because the only person stopping you is you. Thank you.